So you want to learn more about 401ks, Roths, IRAs, and HSAs. It can be confusing. You're thinking, what will my retirement look like? How do I choose a retirement fund? There are so many options. Well, today's video will definitely help you. You should watch this video quite a few times to discover the hidden gems. Start investing for your retirement early. You're starting early, right? Check out this comparison. Here's Bob. Now, Bob started saving $600 a month when he was about 30. Now he's 65 and pretty well off with a cool $1 million in the bank. He did well, saving up a nice sized nest egg for his retirement. Early in his career, he remembers people were talking about their 401k and saving for retirement. He took it seriously and got a good 35-year run on his savings, and it shows. And here's Pat. Pat also started saving $600 a month, but he started 10 years later when he was 40. He too is now 65, but now he's realizing his retirement nest egg is not so golden. When he was started working, he remembers people talking about their 401k, but he was thinking, now I got some cash to buy some cool stuff. What a dope. Pat is going to have to work until he's tits up. Poor Pat, literally. Now, I'm not saying $1 million is the right number. You'll need a bit more, and we'll get into that in a future video. But you get my point, right? The difference between an early start and a late start. Just 10 years of extra compounding savings is over double. If you're interested in how to figure out the right amount for retirement, let me know by leaving a comment down below. Now I'm going to talk about 5 of the most common retirement savings account you can have. I'll explain them all right here, right now. You may want to review this section over and over and take some notes. The difference between all of these accounts has to do with A, how much money you can contribute to them, B, whether the money goes in pre-tax or post-tax, C, when you can start taking your money out, and D, whether the money that comes out is taxed or not. The first account is a 401k, or 401(b) if you work for a public school service or certain charities. A traditional 401k savings account is sponsored by your employer if they offer it. If you are self-employed, you can open a solo 401k account. If your work doesn't offer a 401k, go find an employer that offers a 401k along with an employer match. What is an employer match? I'll explain that in a minute. In a 401k in 2023, the maximum yearly contribution limit is $22,500 if you're under 50 years old, $30,000 if you're 50 or older. The contribution goes in pre-tax and will come out later to be taxed as personal income, added to whatever taxable personal income you may have. The age you can start withdrawing money, taking distributions as they call it, is 59 and a half years old. Earlier than this, and you'll incur an additional 10% penalty. You don't have to take distributions at 59 and a half if you don't need the money. You can wait until you're 73, but at 73 you are required to start taking your money out. This is called required minimum distributions, or RMD. And the amount is basically the total savings amount divided by the number of years left to live as calculated by the IRS. As a bonus, some employers offer an employer match up to a certain amount for every dollar you contribute, as an incentive for you to save for your retirement, and as a gesture to show they care about you. Also, as an incentive for you to come to work for them and stay loyal to them. So if your employer offers this, you have to take advantage of this. It's literally free money. You like free money, don't you? If your employer doesn't offer a 401k match, I strongly suggest finding one that does. The second account is a Roth 401k. A Roth 401k account is also sponsored by your employer and is a little bit different than a traditional 401k. A key difference from the traditional 401k is that the contribution goes in post-tax and will come out later without the need to be taxed. That's right. Later, when the money comes out, it will be tax-free money. Like the traditional 401k, the maximum yearly contribution limit is the same. The age you can start withdrawing money is the same. When we're talking about 401k or Roth 401k contributions, the max mentioned is a total for the both types combined. So the total of your 401k and Roth 401k can equal $22,500 max if you're less than 50 years old, for example. The third account is an IRA. An IRA, Individual Retirement Arrangement, savings account is a self-sponsored account, not sponsored by your employer. So anyone that is considered a resident for U.S. tax purposes can open a traditional or Roth IRA. In an IRA in 2023, the maximum yearly contribution limit is $6,500 if you're under 50 years old, $7,500 if you're 50 or older. Like a traditional 401k, the contribution goes in pre-tax and will come out later to be taxed as personal income. The age you can start taking distributions is the same. The difference between saving in an IRA rather than a 401k or Roth 401k is that you will have more investment options available inside the IRA, such as regular stocks. The fourth account is a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA savings account is also self-sponsored. In a Roth IRA in 2023, like the traditional IRA, the maximum yearly contribution limit is the same. Like a traditional Roth 401k, the contribution goes in post-tax and will come out later without the need to be taxed. Like a traditional 401k or IRA, the age you can start taking distributions is the same. Again, like the IRA, the difference between saving in a Roth IRA rather than a 401k or Roth 401k is that you'll have more investment options available inside the Roth IRA. The fifth account is an HSA health savings account, an account that lets you save pre-tax money to pay for qualified medical expenses tax-free. If you have regular medical expenses, it's a great way to save pre-tax money to pay for these expenses throughout the year using a debit Visa card. As of January 1st, 2020, over-the-counter medicines are now allowed as qualified medical expenses. This is great since many medicines needed are not prescriptions. In an HSA in 2023, under 50 years old, the maximum yearly contribution limit is $3,850 single coverage, or $7,750 for family coverage. 55 and older, the maximum yearly contribution limit is $4,850 for single coverage, or $8,750 for family coverage, $1,000 more. There are terms and conditions that apply to minimum deductible amounts and maximum out-of-pocket limits, but I won't get into that here. HSA funds roll over and accumulate year to year if they're not spent, so that's great, you never lose your money. You can even invest your HSA savings into stocks and other securities, potentially allowing for higher returns over time, and any interest, dividends, or capital gains you earned are non-taxable. Unlike a 401k or IRA, an HSA does not require the account holder to begin withdrawing funds at a certain age. You can think of an HSA as another savings account to invest and grow your savings and pay for medical expenses tax-free. If you are under 65 and use a withdrawal for a non-medical purpose, the withdrawal will be taxable and subject to a 20% penalty. Once you're 65, you can use withdrawals for a non-medical purpose. The withdrawal will be taxable but not subject to a 20% penalty. So they give you a break there. Finally, stocks, bonds, high-yield savings, certificates of deposits are our final category of retirement savings accounts that people who max out their tax-deferred retirement accounts can save and grow their money in. Although they don't offer tax deferment options for your savings, I just wanted to mention them as a final option for savings. For all of these accounts, any contribution goes in post-tax, has a potential for growth or loss. Any capital gains are subject to tax as personal income. Some stocks do offer qualified dividends that are tax exempt to a certain degree based on conditions met and depending on your income bracket. What is any of this information good for without a strategy? It's all about strategy, investment strategy, and tax deferment strategy. There are 3 strategies I recommend depending on your age and income level. They are slightly different from each other to leverage your situation to your best long-term benefit, so follow these instructions carefully. Strategy 1. Here's the best strategy if you're young, less than 30. You have many years to save and aren't a high income earner yet. You're still in the lower tax bracket. First, contribute to your company-sponsored Roth 401k account. Because the money in is required to be post-tax and you're in a lower tax bracket, the tax hit won't be as bad as if you were a higher tax bracket. But first, only invest up to the maximum amount that your employer will match. You'll want to save the rest of your money for the next savings account. Second, contribute to an HSA account. As mentioned previously, the HSA savings account is a great place to save pre-tax money to invest and grow your savings and pay for medical expenses tax-free. Third, contribute to a Roth IRA account up to the max allowed. As mentioned previously, the difference between saving in a Roth IRA rather than a 401k or Roth 401k is that you'll have more investment options inside the IRA plan. Fourth, after you've satisfied the first 3 steps, go ahead and contribute more to your company-sponsored Roth 401k account. Go ahead and max it out if you can. This strategy will take the best advantage of tax reduction since you're in a low or mid-earning lower tax bracket. The only caveat here is that because you'll be paying taxes on money going into these Roth accounts and because you're basically a low or mid-income earner, you may not have sufficient money to cover your cost of living expenses. If you don't have sufficient leftover money to cover cost of living expenses, you should see if you can utilize any of these first steps listed in this strategy in priority of order listed, omitting the latter steps to leave enough money for you to cover cost of living expenses. Although it may seem like less money is going into these post-tax Roth accounts, if you're young, you have an advantage of extra years of compounding interest to work for you. And again, Roth distributions later will be tax-free. Strategy 2. Here's the best strategy if you're between 31 and 60, less years to save, at any income level. First, contribute to your company-sponsored traditional 401k account. The money in will be pre-tax. If your level of income would normally put you in a higher tax bracket, contributing to a 401k could lower your taxable income and possibly put you in a lower tax bracket. So this is a great strategy to lower your taxable income. But first, only invest up to the maximum allowance that your employer will match. You want to save the rest for the next savings account. Second, contribute to an HSA account. Again, the HSA account is a great place to save pre-tax money for medical expenses. Third, contribute to an IRA account up to the max allowed. Fourth, after you've satisfied the first 3 steps, go ahead and contribute more to your company-sponsored 401k account up to the max allowed. In this age range, strategy 2 is best strategy for you because number 1, you don't have the advantage of extra years of compounding interest to work for you. Number 2, if you're a low earner, you probably need more money for cost of living expenses, especially if you have family dependents. Number 3, if you are a mid to high earner, you'll want to shelter your income by taking advantage of offloading pre-tax dollars to lower your tax bracket. Finally, strategy 3. For young, less than 30, but have a high income level. Number 1, follow strategy 2 to lower your taxable income. Number 2, optionally, if you believe you have heirs to leave some of your investments to and would like them to not have to incur taxes upon withdrawal of them, you might consider investing some income into the Roth versions of these accounts. This will increase your current tax burden, so careful consideration will be necessary. If you're thinking about these retirement accounts, I know you must be into saving money and getting the most perks for spending your money. In this next video, I share my favorite credit cards for travel, dining, and free hotel stays. Click here now to see it, and I'll see you over there.